Hi guys, welcome to Gardening with Stacy. I'm just jumping on here. I wanted to go through some of the seeds and why I planted some of the tomato and pepper seeds that I planted in this series that we're doing from seed to fruit. So, and how you can just determine like how many days till the like if you're planting a tomato, how many days to maturity. So when it says days to maturity, that means like days to your fruit, days to when you should be able to start picking your tomatoes or peppers. It's not always going to be a definite like 70 days. Sometimes there's going to be a range. When you're ordering seeds, it's also going to let you know like, do you need full sun? Do you need 6 to 8 hours of sun? Some of the tomato seeds and pepper seeds are more heat resistant, so those are always great to have in our garden here in Arizona, where we know in the summertime it's going to be super hot. So there's a lot of just information that we can get from our seed packets or from the place that you're ordering your seeds. So I'm going to start with tomatoes and go through some of the different varieties of tomatoes that I planted. Not all of these are like totally just my favorites, but there are some that I planted that grow easier and that I do get a bigger harvest from. This year I'm going to be just teaching a little bit more, and I wanted to make sure I had varieties that were easier and that I know that just produce pretty well in the garden. So I'm going to start off. So this one right here that I planted is a Cherokee Purple. So we can see I ordered it from Seeds and Such. So on the seed packet right here, this is going to explain to us basically how to start the seeds. But this is pretty general. This isn't giving information specific to the seed. This is also talking about eggplants, peppers, and tomatoes. So to get more detailed information, you're going to want to go, I would want to go on Seeds and Such and look up tomato Cherokee Purple, and they would have a detailed description basically of this seed and plant and what it likes. It even will tell you what like the diseases it's prone to, what it's resistant to, stuff like that. So if you know in your garden that you get a lot of like, I don't know, let's just say you get leaf curl. You might want to order stuff that is resistant to leaf curl. So just knowing your garden, knowing what you've had in it in the past, that's just one way that you can kind of take a preventative measure to plant things that are resistant to what maybe you get a lot in your garden. So this one right here, it's a heirloom, which means that the seed is not mixed with another seed. So these ones are the seeds that I save the most. I save my heirloom seeds from the tomatoes when I harvest them. It is an 80-day, so 80 days to maturity. So not too long. If we get this in the ground, let's see here, let's just use September 1st. September, October. So in November sometime, I'm probably going to have my harvest. So this is a longer variety than some of the shorter ones, but I like to have a variety of different ones. I have found that a lot of the heirloom, they are a little longer than the hybrids. And hybrids is where they basically took one seed and another seed and they like kind of put it together. So if you were to save the seed from a hybrid tomato, you're not going to get most likely the same plant that you got, that you took that seed from. It's going to be either this tomato or this tomato. So if they combine like a yellow tomato and a red tomato, you could actually be growing a yellow tomato from that seed that you saved from that hybrid. All right, so this one is tomato, it's a pineapple, and this one is one of my favorites. I really, really like the pineapple. It's a 85 to 90 day maturity on that one. And maturity is also going to mean from the day that it germinates. So not the day you plant it in the ground, the day that it germinates. So that's also important to note as well. So all this time that these are in the house, that's also counting towards that time. And the just estimate, so you can't hold them to that, because seeds, it just depends on their care and their environment and what's going on. So I also planted one that's called a 42 day tomato. So that's 42 days to maturity. So I should get tomatoes 42 days after this one germinates. And then Black Krim, which again, this one is one of my favorites as well. It is 70 to 90 days to maturity. It is a heat resistant variety, so I like this one. Definitely for Arizona, this one works well in my garden. So, and you can see what I do on my seed packets. I write heirloom, 70 to 90 days. And then that's Black Krim, and that's because it just wasn't very big on here, so I wrote it bigger. And then I wrote heat because it likes the heat. On the back of this one, so this is one that I ordered from Gurney's. On the back of this one, this actually has more of a detailed description of this particular seed. So this is definitely more specific to the Black Krim versus what the Seeds and Such packets have on theirs. So I could just read this. Care, for right here, it says care. Water well during dry weather and keep as free of weeds as possible, which that's what we should do in our gardens anyway, correct? Begin to harvest when fruit reaches desired size and mature color. The heirloom variety produces large 6-inch fruit, some up to a pound, which have a dark brown, red to black color and rich flavor. So that is the Black Krim, and that's what that says on that. And then another one that I like, so this is the beefsteak. This one is going to be 75 days to harvest. The seed packet on the back gives specific directions for this type of tomato. It tells you how deep to plant, how your spacing when we're in the garden. So all of those are things to just be aware of when you're buying your seed packets. And just you can always reread those. You don't have to have all of that memorized. You can look at the back. Most of the time I can remember, just because I've been planting tomatoes for so long, so I don't need to really go back through the spacing and all of that. Just do it the same way that I've done it before. But the deeper you get them in the ground, the better. And you're always going to want to prune those bottom leaves before. You don't want them touching the soil. Tomatoes, it's really important to do that. So here's another variety. This is a newer variety that I've started growing. And I started this one because it, again, was heat tolerant. So it's called the Phoenix. This is a hybrid with 72 days to maturity. So I do have this growing. So we will see how this one does. And then I'm growing another one. So this is another one that is supposed to be really good for our heat out here. It's called Heat Master. And this one is 75 days to maturity. And then I did a large red cherry tomato as well. So that one is 55 to 60 days. So you can see how I'm getting a variety of days. I planted tomatillos. So my tomatillos are going to be about 60 days to maturity. And so I planted a Better Boy, 75 days to maturity. And I planted a Celebrity, which that's a pretty familiar one that you probably see in most of your nurseries or even Home Depot or Lowe's. That's a 70-day. It's a determinate versus indeterminate. So the difference between an indeterminate and a determinate is the determinate isn't a tomato plant that you can just keep for years or for more than one season. Typically, those determinate ones, they're going to be for one season. So if I plant in August or September, it's just going to be one season. It's not going to make it a full year. It's not going to make it 2 years. It's not going to be one of those tomato plants that can keep going year after year. An indeterminate, if you can make it through the frost and you can make it through the summer, it will keep going, and you could have it potentially. The longest I've done my tomatoes is like 2.5 years. And then it's just, at that point, I just like planting new ones anyway. So that's just the difference, so you guys know what those are. It's good to have a little bit of both in your garden. I like to grow new stuff all the time anyway, so having those ones that aren't going to be, I'm not trying to keep year after year after year, it's okay that I have those. A new one that I just started, so it's called the Sun Gold, and I've been seeing a lot of people out here in Arizona that really, really like these. They're going to be like an in-between a yellow and a red. It seems to be really popular in the heat. They are producing well, so we are trying these. This will be my first season of doing those ones as well. And then I also planted the Romas. So Romas are going to be about 75 days to maturity. And a lot of Romas are going to be determinate. They're not going to be indeterminate. I did find a few that were indeterminate, but I went ahead and went with the determinate seed. I've had luck with those ones before, and again, like I said, it's not a big deal for me to just go ahead and replant every season. For me, that's just not an issue, not a big deal. I'd rather have a good plant that I get a good harvest for, and then I'll plant another one. So now we'll go to the peppers, and these will be the peppers that are in my trays as well. So we have a Chili de Ardebol, and that one's going to be 90 days. This is a spicier pepper. My husband actually loves putting these in salsa, in our salsa. It gives it a good flavor. It gives it good spice. You smoke them on your smoker and then dry them out, and then you can put them, you can cook with them, you can make your own spice with them, or you could also just put them right in your salsa. And so we're doing habaneros. So habaneros are going to be 90 to 100 days. So typically the hotter the pepper, the probably longer the maturity date is going to be for those. So, and I have cayenne peppers, and those were 70 to 100 days. So you can see with that one, that gave a really broad range of days. That also, for the cayenne peppers, that also depends on if you pick them green versus red. So if you're going to wait for them to turn red, it's probably going to be more of that 100-day mark, versus if you pick yours green, it's probably going to be more of that 70-day mark. So if you pick them green, they're going to be milder. If you wait for them to turn red, they're going to be spicier. And again, that's another pepper that you can smoke. You can make your own spice out of it. You can throw in some salsa. It adds great flavor to a lot of dishes. We really like cayenne peppers. So, and then the next one I have is a serrano chili. That's going to be usually a little bit spicier than jalapenos. 60 to 80 days on that one. And a new pepper that I'm growing this time, supposed to be like the jalapeno popper size peppers. So a larger jalapeno. It's called, and I might butcher this name, but it's called Jalafugo, and it's spicy. So you can see on my seed packet, I wrote spicy, and it says 93 days. So this is going to take longer. That's a longer jalapeno day to maturity. So Goliath jalapenos, that's also a larger, it's going to be larger than your typical jalapeno. This one's 67 days. We really like these ones as well. These ones are, they got a kick to them for sure. They're definitely a hotter jalapeno. And the mucho nacho, that's another one that we really like. It's also we found that our plants, that those are larger as well. They just larger than the other regular early jalapenos that we buy that people buy in the store. So this mucho nacho is definitely a favorite of ours. That's 69 days to maturity. And the next one is going to be called La Bamba. So another jalapeno, different variety, 56 days to maturity. This one, again, this is one of our favorites. We've grown those varieties probably for 2 to 3 years now, and we've had real good success with those. So switching over to the chili peppers, we have a Biggie chili, which is 68 days to maturity. And then we have the Big Jims, which is 77 days to maturity. So those are the pepper seeds that we have going in the seed trays, as well as I guess I have a few other ones. So some of the mild, these are going to be my mild varieties. You can see, like, I have like little seed trays, and I mark those mild, so that's just how I stay organized. So we have a new pepper that I'm growing. It's called Fooled You. It's a jalapeno pepper that is mild, and that's 65 days. So I do banana peppers. Banana peppers are going to be about 72 days. That's also a sweet, so that's going to be mild for sure. And I have another sweet, mild jalapeno. And that one is about 65 days to 75 days to maturity. And then we got our bell peppers. Bell peppers are going to range anywhere from 65 to 85 days. Of course, you can pick bell peppers when they're small. You can pick them when they're large. If you grow yellow, red, orange, some of the different colors, they're always, most of the time they start off green and then they change their color. So that also is going to just take, it's going to take longer. I didn't plant any in this set of trays that I have out there, but I do have them in my garden, and I have quite a few, so I didn't need to plant more. But I have pepperoncinis out there. Pepperoncinis are going to be 62 to 85 days. We really like doing the pepperoncinis because I like to pickle them, and then instead of buying the jars of pepperoncinis from the store, I just make my own jars. The other one that we really like is paprika. So paprika are going to be, you can smoke those, you can make your own smoked paprika, you could dehydrate them, you could put them in the oven and make, regular paprika. They look like a chili. They look like a chili pepper. They are a form, so you can also pick those green or red. Those ones, let's see what I wrote. They're 85 days to maturity for those. So, and then I'm also growing the mild Hatch green chilies and mild Anaheim chilies. And I didn't look up those totally, but those are both 70 to 75 days to maturity. So again, there's so many different varieties of peppers. Everybody's going to have their favorite. I like to have a mixture. You can see we do a lot of jalapeno plants, just different varieties of them. I think it's fun to that's part of one of my favorite things of gardening is having different ones spread out. We typically have about 56 to 60 pepper plants in our garden. That is a staple in the garden. I try to do about 20 tomato plants, and then also onions, garlic, cilantro, so that way we have everything we need. We can make our own salsa, we can make our own hot sauce, we can make our own spices. Those are the things that we really like to do. So a lot of my garden is geared towards those two things. But that's us. That's our family. That's what we like. So I hope you guys find the things that you like to do. You can look up your days to maturity for any item, like a carrot, for green beans, for peas, for anything that you're wanting to grow. It will be on either the website that you get your seed packets from, or they should be on your seed packets. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video and just walking through, again, the peppers and tomatoes that I'm growing in the house right now. Once we get more germination happening, we will pick the pepper and tomato that we will follow all the way to fruit in the garden. But I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.